Theo Vaughn has been around for a long time, and he's got a very popular podcast slash stream slash whatever. And he goes to Dana White set him up with an interview with Trump. And I gotta say, like, at this point, Trump is so fucking confused about who he's talking to and who they are. And he's basically, whatever Don Jr. and Barron say they're watching online, that's who he wants. Like, this guy loves you, Dad. Like, that's who he's going to do an interview with. He's done dozens of them. It's fucking weird, right? Yeah. And I got to say, like, comedian to comedian, I've never really found Theo's stuff funny. I'm probably say the same about me. Except my stuff is objectively funny. So he might have more of a problem. But that said, obviously he's more in the Joe Rogan zone, which is the illusion of stand-up masked by a career in podcasting. Okay? And he just it's one of those things where you thematically coast on whatever your character is. Okay? You create this character of, hey man, I'm just down home. And then you do, hey man, I'm just down home jokes forever. Right? That's the gig. Same thing with fucking, oh my God, Joe Rogan's special that he just put out was just ass. Just blathery bullshit, just, a regurgitation of shit that he says on the podcast. It was like it was just bad. Anyways, not funny, annoying, shouty shit. So, but he's got that character now. He's like, I don't know, TRT Alex Jones. That's what he would be. So if Russell Brand is, Rusty Trombone is hippie Alex Jones, and Tucker is dweeb Alex Jones, Joe Rogan is TRT Alex Jones. That's what it is. Arguably, I would say more than likely Alex Jones is on TRT, but I just don't think it's taking. It's not successful. That's testosterone replacement therapy. Anyways, so real quick. Trump has no idea where the fuck he is. And they set this up inside a room at Bedminster so that it looks like he's in the White House. I don't know, like, so he can take credit for the stock market or some shit. He's been doing this a bunch lately. Yes, that's a mullet, and that's I think that's my 90s my early 2000s chin scruff that he's wearing. Is nothing sacred anymore? Yeah, TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he just graduated high school, right?
That's right. He just did. He knows you very well. He said, Dad, he's big.
Wow.
Yeah, big one.
That's cool.
Well, it's cool.
Cool.
So that's good. Well, that's where it is nowadays, right?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I can't believe that
this isn't awkward at all.
We're able to get platforms, and I started in my kitchen, and then just evolved out of there.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. What does Barron play?
Do you want to start? You go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, they should probably start. Yeah, anytime. Yeah. Do you want to start? I think the fact that we've been rolling for a few minutes, why not?
We rolling?
Yeah, sure.
We're good. Yeah, that's does
Andrea or CSL, if you want to throw the Mike Lindell shaving his mustache into the staff chat, just grab it because I couldn't dig it up beforehand because I'm trying to find an isolated clip of it. And anyways, we'll get there.
Barron plays sports or anything?
He does. He plays golf and different sports, soccer. Loves soccer. Very good at soccer. He's a good athlete, Barron.
Yeah. Is he going to go? Has he already picked a college?
Oh, by the way, I would like to give, if I may, I'd like to give Theo Vaughn some credit on a couple of fronts. One is his smartly placed product placement, whatever the fuck he sells, his little iced teas that are his sponsor. There's one right next to Trump. They give him one, they cracked it open, and they set it right there. Whether Trump drinks from it or touches it during the thing, I have no idea. But they definitely did it, and it's smart move, Theo. The other thing, too, is that he actually keeps digging on a couple of questions about the kids. He wants a personal conversation with Trump because the whole thing seems to be, you need to personalize this guy. You need people to recognize that he's a real man and he's got real family and real concerns and he's just like us. And Trump fucking eggs it all. He never, he just eats shit on all of it. Just all of it sounds like he just met Barron in the room, like right before they walked in. See, yeah, he's a great kid. He does all this stuff that I've heard that he does, that you just told me he does.
College or no?
He has, and he's getting set to go in the fall. Good college, a very good one.
See what I mean? He put that fucking right there by itself. I don't know that it helps sales. It may tank them, but.
And he was always a very good student. He's smart guy.
Which one of your kids,
Yikes.
what's something you admire about each one of your sons?
Ooh, that's rough. That's yeah, that's the kind of thing that makes you go right before you answer it. What's something you admire about? Yeah, exactly. Fuck the girls. Absolutely. Like, by the way, I don't think Ivanka comes up, but Tiffany sure as fuck doesn't. Fuck the daughters. Nice work, Theo.
Don is a hunter. He's a great, great hunter. And
yes, nobody can fucking shoot a stake down animal on a bullshit rich asshole safari like Timu Ellis from Die Hard.
And knows everything about that world and guns and
everything.
And all.
And guns and all.
He was the first one that said, "Dad, boy, you got lucky," because I didn't realize that 130 yards is actually very close.
You notice that Theo did not know what he was referencing with the "Dad, you got lucky." Look at Theo Von's response.
Lucky, because I didn't realize.
You did get lucky. Because you're not really smart. You shouldn't be this rich. Look at this shit around you. You totally got lucky. Oh, you mean about the shooting thing, right? Fuck.
I said 130 yards is actually very close in that parlance. And he's
in that parlance, of our times, in the parlance of our times.
said, "You got lucky." He knew immediately when he saw that. He said, "It's incredible," because that's considered a pretty close distance.
From how far the shooter was?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the guy wasn't a bad shooter.
Or what are you talking about? Oh, of course.
Supposedly, he was a very disturbed guy, but he wasn't a bad shooter. And Eric, likewise, he loves the business. He loves real estate.
He loves concrete, easy pour. He loves the mob connections of concrete in New York, especially.
Also very much of a hunter and understands a lot of things about that. They were sort of...
Yeah, a lot of things about that. What would some of those things, he talks about it, and you can't not learn stuff about it, like which end of the gun the bullet comes out of versus the side it comes. What's the stock again? Do you buy shares in a gun? Is that what the stock is? I don't remember. Eric talks about it all the time.
As young guys, they were with their grandfather, and he would take them hunting in Czechoslovakia, and somehow they developed...
By the way, that's Ivana's father, not his father. Or obviously not him. Their grandfather, the father of the woman I buried on the golf course right over there. I'm going to tell you an anecdote about how their grandfather basically raised them as boys and gave them all their manly qualities that we're all bragging about now. And I buried their mom. You want to see her? Fuck it. Let's take a break. We'll just walk on over or whatever. Do you need to pee?
Very well. And
Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
damn.
Can you imagine?
Damn.
A lot of letters even.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore, but it was...
Because it's the Czech Republic. You hear it all the time when you're talking about it historically being Czechoslovakia and then becoming the Czech Republic. Damn, that's a lot of letters.
I'd need a scope just to get through the spelling of that word.
That's right.
I think,
A lot of people.
Yeah.
But
It's almost a joke. I'd need a scope just to get through the spelling of that word. I presume the premise of that joke, and if I could break it down for just a second, is that you would have to shoot all of the vowels out of the word that don't belong.
so he'd go, they'd spend time in Europe and they'd do that. That's where he learned a lot
Yes, away from you.
about both of them, really good.
With your dad, they would go?
No, grandfather, actually.
No, my ex-wife's father. You know, the one I buried on the golf course. Come on, we've been drinking iced tea. Let's go let's go give her a drizzle, as I like to call it. You can, for an extra $65, you can tee off on her gravestone. I'm kidding. She doesn't have a gravestone. It's just a marker. Anyways.
They had a grandfather who was a wonderful outdoorsman and athlete.
What was his name again? What was that guy's name? What could his name be? What was his daughter's name? You met her once, right?
And during the summer, he'd take them out into the woods and they'd go hunting and lots of things, and they loved it.
Lots of things. Lots of things.
They got to love it. And that's Don, and that's Eric.
Well, yeah, I mean, eventually you get used to anything, you know. So it's just, you know, in the woods of Czechoslovakia, you alone with an Eastern European man who's under constant surveillance by the Kremlin. Please continue.
Yeah, they're funny.
Oh, yeah.
They have a good sense of humor, too. Like, whenever I see them at UFC, it's like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just, like... The first time I was nervous, I think, and then after that, when I've seen them, it's like, it's fun to kind of cut up with them a little bit.
Yeah, they're just hilarious. These guys, they just, what, you know, they really like to do is laugh at other people like they're sisters.
Well, they're good guys, and they really...
Yeah, that's how a father usually talks about his sons.
They get along great with the rest of the family. We all get along great. We have a good family.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Check that off. Good family? Yeah. That was the point, right? Point of the interview? You want people to come away thinking that I have a good family? Okay, I said we have a good family. Done.
But I love you. I see. You talk about a great guy. How about Dana White?
Yeah.
The job he does, right?
Yeah, I want to thank Dana too for helping get us set up together. Yeah,
God, fucking Theo can't even look him in the fucking eyes. Isn't that weird? Hey, yeah, man, this is awesome. I can't believe that I'm actually sitting in the room with man. Maybe it's, I don't know why I'm nervous. Maybe it's because with this scruff, my chin looks like a pussy, and I'm afraid you're gonna grab me by the face. It's hard to say.
Makes it happen. I like Dana. He doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste time. He likes to, I think, be efficient and.
So you're not worth talking to, is what you mean? He doesn't think you're worth talking to. Like he'll humor you because you have influence, and he'll use that influence. But beyond that, fuck you. Okay.
He has seems like a strong sense of integrity for himself.
Yeah, nobody like him, actually. It's, there's an expression that everybody is replaceable. Not Dana.
Yeah.
Nobody.
My sons, who we were just talking about, that never occurred to me to regard my children as irreplaceable. You know what I mean? But as soon as you bring up Dana White, oh man, we can't do it. I mean, if I lost Eric, would it be a big deal? Probably not. But Dana White, man, there's never going to be. They broke the mold. My kid's moldy as fuck.
He could do what he does, and he's made that sport.
Lots of people could do it. He's what is it? Don King. He's the fucking UFC Don King. Who cares?
To a big monster sport.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Yeah. It is a monster sport. I think it's a good description.
And we go there and we enjoy it, go with him. Sometimes we do walk-ons with Dana, and the place sort of likes it.
Oh, yeah.
The place sort of likes it. Oh, yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, but
there's
Dana,
a video
yeah,
of us. I was behind you in one video. I'm sure the dogs here will pull it up.
The dogs. That's your production team. You call the guys that work for you the dogs, as in these are my dogs. Yo, dog. Really? So Southern talk is now late 90s like gang rapper speak.
But yeah, those are some of my favorite things ever. UFC became my favorite sport during the pandemic because Dana was brave enough to stay open. You know,
he was the whole ball game. He was the only sport, and he'd open up in arenas with nothing other than very good fighters.
Yeah,
and they would be.
Well, then the arena's not open; it's closed. The arena is closed. The arena is closed. If it's empty except for what's going on there, then the arena part it's not even part of the fucking conversation, dum-dum. It doesn't matter where it is. They could have done it in a fucking warehouse. They did it in the arena because, like, I don't know, he had contracts or some shit, and he could write it off. He could get government money under this motherfucker to pay, like, to support his company. That's why they would do it in a fucking arena. Otherwise, you would just you'd set up a ring in a TV studio and do it there.
But he had some of the best fights during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it
was exceptional. There it is right there. See, look, there you are, and I'm right behind you there.
Oh,
slapping with that hat on, the white guy in the hat.
That's great. That's right, the white guy in the hat.
Yo, how about this? Hey, Theo, how about this? How about my shirt? There you go. Whoa, fuck yeah. All right. Boom, boom. I'm hyping, yo. Look at this. Are my dogs here? Have my dogs arrived? Yo, has anyone seen my dogs? Dog.
That is right. That's great.
Singular. I don't know how many dogs did we bring? We just brought one dog. Yo, dog. How many dogs are here? Just you? Okay. So just dog. I'll just say dog then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us there, but I was one of them for sure.
That's right.
Yes, you were definitely one of a crowd of people.
Yeah, see, that's me right there.
Good sport, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. So.
Oh, he's great. He was, boy, I tell you, he's a warrior. That last fight he had.
Oh, boy, with a fight where he got hit and the other guy was hitting him, and he was just, he killed it. He was so good. You think Trump knows whether the guy won or lost? You think he's about to find out whether he won or lost?
Whether you like it or not, he is a warrior.
Yeah.
I enjoy sports. And sports ball is all, especially when they take the ball and they move it in the direction of, some people call it a goal, but there's also another version of where you would play it. And sometimes that's not even the point, but they do the thing with the ball, the object, the sports object well.
Yeah, it felt like he didn't get the victory, but it didn't feel like he lost.
No, he didn't lose.
Where can I get a shirt like yours? I got this one at the DNC. I'm fairly certain it's on the DNC website. This was yeah. I got it when I was in New York, or in Chicago rather.
That fight, he really
How'd the fight go? Tell us the details. Excellent. Tell us all you know about it. I'm so excited because you love UFC. You go to these things all the time. You know Dana White personally, your best buds. So you probably sit around shooting the shit, and he's told you all the intricacies, and because you have the greatest memory and you know the best people and the best words, you probably just latched onto the details, and you could explain UFC to us in a way that we could never comprehend because you were there. Tell us about it. Tell us.
He was fighting was tough. He was tough and didn't expect that same fight. But he oftentimes he makes people suffer. There's no question about it. No, he's a pro. He's a professional.
Yeah, he's all heart. He's from Louisiana. That's where I'm from.
As that fight went along, he just got stronger and stronger, and he was getting pounded.
I don't know. I got to say, I feel like this is just kind of generic. I'm beginning to think you didn't even watch the last fight. I'm pretty sure if he asked you to repeat the name of the guy, I couldn't do it, but I don't give a fuck. If he asked you to repeat the name of the guy you're talking about, you couldn't do it. I'm getting that feeling. Is anybody else getting that feeling? Chat room, am I the only person who thinks that Trump is just violently bullshitting his way through this? Anyways, you were saying Dana White is irreplaceable, but your kids, they're good guys. I think I met them once. They used to hang out with their grandfather in Czechoslovakia. Shit.
And he was going to be choked out about 4 different times, and
what are you talking about?
he just wouldn't let it happen. No, you say hello to him. He's good.
Yeah.
He was gonna look. He's not even looking at his face because that didn't happen. That did not happen. He was gonna get choked out 4 different times. What?
I'll make sure to.
He's a really great fighter.
And he cooks Thanksgiving dinner every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to go sometime.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he must do good food.
He does, yeah.
He must do good food. that looks like it was brought in. So does he cook in disposable tin trays and aluminum trays? Just, because of the flavor. You know what? You're right. Probably just because of the flavor.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to go sometime. Huh?
Oh yeah, I mean
He must do good food.
he does. Yeah, he does some good stuff over.
He must do good food. I mean, Tucker Carlson could learn a lot from Trump about just normal people speak.
There. Yeah, what was the first? Do you remember like the first fight that you ever went to, whether it was UFC or boxing or anything?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Theo thinks this is a normal interview, and he keeps digging down, and he's gonna hit like bullshit bedrock.
I do. It was
By the way, he means first UFC fight. He means what's the first UFC fight you ever saw? They are talking about UFC. They are talking about how Dana White is irreplaceable, how he is a mutual friend. They just showed one of the fighters that is Theo Von's personal favorite fighter, right? We're all on the same topic, right? We're all clear about that. And
Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali.
I had no idea they were in the UFC. That's amazing.
In Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you? Remember?
Oh boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago. But they were two undefeated fighters. They were both undefeated. Muhammad became a friend of mine. So did Joe, Jolton Joe. They were two great fighters. That fight was incredible. I think they had
What was incredible about it? What was really incredible about it? What was the incredible part?
many heart attacks that night, literally heart attacks in Madison Square Garden. I think it was Madison Square Garden. And the fight was so unbelievable. Two undefeated heavyweight champions of the
All right. First of all, let me get cut to the chase, if I may. Yeah, it was smoking Joe Frazier. I don't know what the jolting Joe business is about. He knows somebody personally. He knows somebody personally who had a heart attack that night. So he thinks there were lots of heart attacks there.
world. There was no UFC and there was no competition, really. It was it.
Yeah.
And so you had the two guys. Remember that Muhammad wasn't allowed to fight because of lots of different things. And
lots of different things because he was a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War, and they took away his license to box because he wouldn't go to war. Because Carlin has the best encapsulated piece about this. Like, you know, he's got a weird job beating people up. The government didn't wanted him to kill people. He said, "I'm not going to kill people," and well, we won't let you beat people up. Right? That bit, amazing. And so well timed and smart. Really, Carlin at his most crucial, I would say. Trump doesn't even mention that. Yeah, Joe DiMaggio was Jolton Joe. That's right. Everybody in the chat room is just going, it's like so stupid.
he was a terrific guy. Both terrific guys. Very
And they
different.
finally made it happen.
Yeah, they were terrific. You know, that's basically what I'm getting.
They finally
And
made
they
that
made it
bout
happen. So you had two undefeated heavyweight champions fighting.
And who took you to the fight? You remember?
I went with my father and my brother Robert. And it was just, I don't know, I must have been very young. It was a long time ago, but you would never forget it. That was one of those moments.
Oh, yeah.
But no, literally.
Yeah, like you don't even, like you remember, it was one of those moments you never forget. Like, what was the big thing in it? Because I'll tell you what. I have, well, shit. Hang on, chat room. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna grab something real quick. Showtime. Okay, show and tell. Here's a picture of me and my dad. I'm the little guy. That's my dad, and And yes, he's wearing it's hard to see in focus, but he's wearing basically like a shirt from the 1800s. So, well, 1700s actually. This is an actual Polaroid from back then. Look at me, a little toe-headed blonde. Yeah, my hair was just starting to turn brown. This was at a friend of my dad's house, and a guy we used to call the Heathine, guy named Mike. But he passed away. But he was would have totally these days been a Trump supporter. It's that kind of dude. Just fucking. They called him the Heathine for a reason. At one point, he got drunk and was like chasing guys' wives around the camp. So they made him walk through the entire camp wearing a sign around his chest that said rapine on it, meaning a man who has a proclivity to being rapey. And so you'd shame him through the town. They made him walk through the whole camp wearing this sign. Okay. Oh yeah, my dad's still around, but my dad is, yeah. Believe me, the 70s were very good to my dad. I have no doubt. The point being is that we were at Mike Moreland's house, the Heathine, when this picture was taken, and he made squirrel's head soup. Okay, and he literally made this giant burgoo, basically this like whatever we got laying around stew. And then he had used squirrel meat, and then he took the heads, skinned them, and then boiled them, and then put them in there. So they basically like float around. And it was mainly just for looks. I mean, you could pop them open, you could eat the brains, I guess, if you wanted to, but you probably wouldn't, you know. Point was I very distinctly remember that particular burgoo. I particularly remember that moment, and I ate some of the stew because I was kind of proud of myself for like eating squirrel's head soup, right? As a kid. I remember that. That's one of those moments. You know what I mean? You know those moments when you have moments where it's really memorable, right? And there's stuff in this picture that I walk by every day that's just part of and parcel to what actually occurred. Okay, your dad taking you with your brother at a young age to go to the fucking first fight of Muhammad Ali coming back from being, not allowed to box because of his conscientious objector status, with smoking Joe Frazier, right? Those two things combined would kind of create, at least if you really dug deep, a memory or two about that. They had popcorn. I remember being young and I was like, I went off on myself and I met so-and-so at this thing, whatever those things are, right? Because it's kind of huge. But it's clear that Theo Von does not understand, A, his dogs don't know how to frame this fucking shot because they want to get this in, that you would frame it here to here, like this general idea, right? Even if you want to keep the T in, here to here, that's all you need. But for whatever reason, it's this big, wide fucking shot, like they're going to get up and leg wrestle.
There were like many heart attacks in the arena.
If people having too much
This is what he remembers. There were many heart attacks in that arena.
fun, or what do you
They were
think it was
just
drugs?
having heart attacks because it was such a crazy event.
Oh, yeah.
It was so, the people were just, I know a friend of mine, the father, he had a bad heart attack. Literally, they took him out. They were taking people out.
It's an early
It was,
KO.
and I don't hear that anymore. I mean, there were other exciting sporting events. I don't think there's ever been, I don't know, I guess there has, but you would think.
Yeah, there's got to be other exciting sporting events where people were just falling over from heart attacks. This is nonsense, by the way. This is absolute garbage. Think about this for a second. What the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, people had massive heart attacks? Yeah, because his friend's dad had a heart attack. That's this world. Like, he didn't see, oh, God.
Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, their first fight. But it was a very exciting time.
Well, yeah, and just people being, I guess, sometimes our systems aren't ready to handle the amount of excitement that's going on,
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Like, I think, maybe people just couldn't even handle so much joy. You think it was that.
That's what it is. These are joy heart attacks. It wasn't because they had fucking bet their entire life savings on it and were worried at different points they were losing. if they even had these heart attacks at all, it's probably just too much joy. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing right now at the DNC. It's heart attack central. It's just too much joy. And that's the way the Democrats are just attacking everyone, attacking America.
People were just so excited.
They had heart attacks. I mean, they just had, I guess they do it.
No, they fucking did not. What are you talking about?
Maybe Super Bowls or something.
Oh, people have heart attacks eating a thick soup, So it's like, I'm not.
People have heart attacks eating a thick soup.
Not surprised that something so awesome like that would make your heart be like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, but I never hear of it, and I'm sure it happens.
No, you're not sure it happens, you big weirdo. What are you talking about?
Just that one. But we had an exciting event the other night with Elon Musk and me.
I listened.
We had
it probably were a lot of heart attacks. A lot of people had heart attacks. They're like, oh my God, my favorite president sounds like Sylvester the cat.
Pretty big audience for that one, I can tell you.
Yeah, I listened for probably about like 20 minutes. I thought it was.
And then I couldn't take it. I just tapped out. I was like, this is boring as shit. Like, I was like, yeah. I like 20 minutes. I'm done.
It was cool. It was
I was going to keep listening, but I was worried I'd have a heart attack from too much joy.
I think the tough part was just like it would have been neat if you guys could have been in the same spot, But I still thought it was exceptional.
I heard the audio was great, and
that's not possible though. That's not possible. You can't. No, you can't. They can't be this. It can't be in the same spot. Just too expensive. It's too dangerous to have the two smartest people in the world in one spot. We could wipe out all the intelligence on Earth. If the aliens blew up that building.
Actually, they put out a clear tape of it because they had clear tape.
A clear tape.
Oh, nice.
They had so many millions and millions of people watching,
watching what? It was audio, dum-dum.
Record numbers of people. And I'm trying to figure out, we're on a cell phone, or I was. And, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
What? Run that. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Run that by me again. Listen. Wait a minute. You think everybody has to fit inside the phone?
Or I was. And, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But
No, wait a minute. And Theo Vaughn says, yeah. Listen to that. Like, this is intertubes dumb. Holy shit. Like, this should be what?
And, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I heard.
No, one's coming into the cell phone. Your voice is going out. That's it. You're just hearing an audio feed. That has nothing to do with fucking anything. You dipshit. What the hell? Run that. Wait.
And, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But
no, not anyway. I know. Oh my God. This is next level stupid. And by the way, we're going to skate right by this. This is not going to make the news. This is not going to show up anywhere. You're not going to see this in a clip of Greg Kelly showing how tech savvy Trump is. This is old man farts dust film at 11 kind of footage under any normal circumstance. But this is, I know the best people. I know more about ISIS than the generals do. I have the best words. That motherfucker. What the fuck?
And, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I heard some people had a problem with.
Also, he's an old fart, okay? He's an old dipshit, self-involved, silver spoon, cul-de-sac, upper, whatever, Central Park asshole. Theo Vaughn, though, goes, yeah. Theo, what the fuck are you saying? What do you mean, yeah? What do you mean, what the fuck? That's a lot of people coming into a cell phone, and maybe out of the cell phone or through the cell phone. What do you, What are you yaing, you dumb motherfucker? What are you yaing? Why are you yaing? Why yeah? Why'd you go yeah? What was that? I wish I was there. I wish I was there. I wish I could freeze time in these moments and go, okay, Trump's frozen. He's over there. Everybody around, like, the dogs are all sitting there on their laptops, frozen. But Theo's still awake and aware, like, wow, dude, hey, the whole world's shut down. What happened? And I could go, Theo, real quick, fuck did you say yeah for? When he said that, what the fuck are you yaing? Why would you yeah that? Why would your impulse be yeah? No, not yeah. That's what you jump in is, and you go, well, that's not, I mean, obviously it's not because they have to filter it through there. It's just because you had a lisp and they AI'd it to fix your voice because you sounded like an asshole. But you can't say that, so you just say yeah. If that's the reason, fucking go for it. What am I, and who am I to tell Theo Von? He's the one who's sitting 8 feet from this asshole and about 65 feet from where this asshole buried his kid's mom with no headstone. Like the televangelist version of Scott Peterson.
With the audio, I don't know. I don't do that thing. You know, that was done. And
yeah, I don't know how that works. Talking into a phone. The guy said, Jesus Christ, if it wasn't for whatever, Morning Joe letting Trump on his cell phone, just like dialing in from bed in his goddamn silk pajamas, he wouldn't have been president.
We had a great conversation. It was for 2 hours and 15 minutes. They just...
Yeah, that's how you judge a good conversation, by length.
Put out a clear tape of it, a perfect tape of it.
Really? Is it reel to reel? 2-inch or quarter inch? I just need to know so I can put the right spindle on. I sure it wasn't a wax cylinder?
But yeah, I think I sounded somebody.
I'll have to go back and listen to it.
He said,
is Theo nervous? Yes, Theo is nervous. Why? I don't know. Other than the fact that I think he's more starstruck than nervous, which is really weird. You know what? I'll take it back. This might not be starstruck. This might be environmental starstruck, which is, I never thought I'd be sitting here. That happens a lot. So giving him... maybe he thinks the sun shines out of Trump's ass, but I think it's also about, holy shit, I'm interviewing a former president. Seems to be more where he's stuck. And therefore, that might be why he's saying, like, yeah, he's yes-anding the circumstance that the universe has delivered him to.
Your voice was distorted or something. And you know, I guess it happens.
It was distorted. That's right. I don't know what caused it. It could be that I saw a metal pole with frost on it right before the interview started, and I went, ooh, frost. This. And then I did the rest of the interview just like this. It could have been that. It could have been something else. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it was one of those things.
Look, it was such a big thing, such a big audience, but I would have loved to have seen the clear tape originally. They put it out right after the show, so now it's a clear tape where a perfect tape done.
Elon had AI fix his voice.
There.
Yeah.
But when it goes through different phone systems and everything else,
different phones. Yeah, that's what it was. Probably, the AT&T operator, one of her cords was probably loose. You know, when she was connecting KL425, Lincoln KL425 calling Ebenezer 172 Ebenezer 172 code Lincoln KL425. You're connected now on your station-to-station trunk call. Speak up, because you might sound like you have a lisp, because one of my connecting cables is a little wiggly.
You think if we were together, that doesn't happen then?
You weren't together because you just had oral surgery, and if you were in the same room, people would have seen you talking like this the whole time, and so you decided not to do it in person because he would have gone, what the fuck is wrong with your fucking faith? That's why you didn't do it together, shithead.
Because I think his voice was more clear than mine.
Maybe because he was the one who was like initiating the call. I'm not sure. Yeah.
There is no form of audio interference that gives you a lisp or a lateral lisp or flap sibilant on the sides of your mouth. There's none. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not sure about how all that works.
Yeah, I know. Let me clear it up for you. It doesn't. It doesn't work. It will never work. It's bullshit. He had a lisp because he'd just gotten his teeth fixed or some shit was going on, or he had a temporary bridge in because his teeth are fucking falling out or whatever. It doesn't matter. The reason you can't make it work in your head is because it doesn't work. It's not possible.
But yeah, I know that in post, a lot of times they can tighten things up and make it better, you know?
Yeah, they tightened it up. That's what they did. Good point. They fixed it in post. They tightened it up. It was much tighter, I would say.
Yeah, it's amazing how Elon, like, the cost to really have your own voice in the world is $44 billion, basically.
Yeah. Well,
if you want to have your voice, like, you know what I'm saying? He has his own channel.
And he
Fuck are you talking about? Your voice? No, control of other people's voices. Dude, you can start a website that can be anywhere in the world, and you can say whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not inciting violence, and nobody can do anything about it. For fucking free. He didn't have to buy fucking Twitter to have his voice. He bought Twitter to shut down other people's voices, dog.
He does what he wants to do, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's a brilliant person, and the country...
citation needed.
You should be very proud of him, actually. I have Truth, which has been very successful.
We'll put a pin in that for later. But let's just tell you what. Let's just establish a baseline. It isn't, and it's even less so than it might have been previous. Even it was at shit, and now it's not even the corn in the shit. Okay.
True Social, you mean?
True Social, yeah.
No, it just means the concept of truth in a vague, abstract, Socratic sense. Truth Social, you mean? Huh? No. I was talking about something.
And that's been very successful in getting my voice out. Well, I needed a voice because, I was on Twitter and I was on Instagram. I was on all of it. And I was on Facebook. And when you added it up, I was told by Zuckerberg and others, it was like record-setting type of numbers. And
yeah, you're somewhere around Ashton Kutcher and some of the crypto dudes.
And then one day I didn't have anything because they canceled. They canceled.
Well, you did have to violently attack the Capitol. You broke the rules that the rest of us have to follow repeatedly, but you finally stepped over a line.
There's such a collusion there, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. You're right. Yeah, Theo, it was just a collusion. They all colluded to all recognize he was violating the terms of service all at once after his people attacked and beat police officers, let's say, en masse.
A pretty bad thing. And so I had nothing. So after about a month, I have a lot of things to say. And after about a month, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go out and put out an old public relations statement. You remember that? And although you're a little young to see it, but in the old days, you'd put out a statement. And
in the old days, statements. Nobody does that anymore.
I did, and it was just gobbled up. It was really gobbled up, and I opened Truth, and Truth has become terrific, actually, for me.
Platform.
I really want just as a platform. It's more important than anything else.
Yeah, it's important that it's a platform. I just wanted to be able to say shit and have the illusion of my own social media network. It doesn't actually have to be successful for the investors because, come on. They're not investors. They're throwing me money outside of campaign finance laws. Fucking, let's not, come on. It's not stock. Stop it. They're not losing money. They're gaining freedom.
Nelson.
Well, at least you have your voice then. You can say what you want to say.
My voice back, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. In a way that just having a website and posting phrases that other people could read didn't.
I had hundreds of millions of people. Even now, I haven't been too active on X, but I
Because legally you can't.
have, I guess, 90 some odd million people on it. But I was much higher than that when I was
It's like
actually
almost all
on
the
it.
people. I don't even know how many people there are.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Let me tell you. I was not holding out hope that this far into it.
but I was much higher than that when I was
It's like
actually
almost all
on
the
it.
people.
Hold on.
Too active on X, but I have, I guess, 90 some odd million people on it. But I was much higher than that when I
He said 90 some odd million people. He's clearly, to me, I think he might have started towards a B and then bailed on it early enough where he said million. So the person being dumber here is Theo Vaughn, who clearly, like many of you though, heard billion and reacted like a comedian does.
I guess 90 some odd million people on it. But I was much
He said million. Clearly, Theo Vaughn heard billion and doesn't know how many. Now, granted, I can't talk exactly because I have somewhere in the order of 3.6 million people in my chat room right now. And that's only because the internet is full. Because you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, where Hal Sparks can Hal Sparks in only the way that Hal Sparks can. And like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Did he say dick soup? Look at Trump after that. He said thick soup, but hashtag dick soup is probably something that, I don't know, maybe Dana White serves that at some of his crazier parties.
higher than that when
He's
I
the new Diddy, right?
was
It's like
actually
almost all
on
the
it.
people. I don't even know how many people there are.
Yeah, it's been, but I love the
Is about 8.3 billion, 8.6, depending on, which numbers you're talking about. At the outside max is the idea. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I am the Democratic machine. I am the establishment. I am the deep state. Hello.
job he's done, and he's brought a certain voice back into play.
Yeah.
The previous people were
Oh, yeah, he totally has. You mean like white supremacists? Yeah. I mean, these guys used to just hang out on Stormfront all the time, and now they can get their Twitter handles back
terrible.
and buy blue check marks.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Every time you do a thing, you'd be red flagged. They'd put
Oh,
up
yeah,
a red
there's
flag.
never-
Every
yeah.
statement you made, you'd be red flagged.
Yeah,
Every single statement, anything you say, sky's blue, red flag.
it's almost like, it's like,
It's almost like, Theo, what's it almost like?
when you have a babysitter and they don't want to have any fun or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's kind
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And like where you're like, I want to get a bunch of my friends together and beat some cops to death. And they're like, no, go to your room. And you're like, you're no fun anymore.
of the vibe I got. When you,
Yeah, that's the vibe.
because I see you at the fights. I see you, sometimes you'll sit right by Dana. And sometimes I'll sit, like me, I'll go with like David Spade sometimes as a close
that's
friend
good.
of mine.
Good.
And,
Great. That sounds like, I mean, that's fun. You know what I mean? That's like the kind of fun where neither of you is like socially awkward and both of you are, can like hug a friend and it's not odd and eye contact is not a problem and both of you can make that, 3 a.m. phone call to the other and it's not, you won't go straight to voicemail.
I'll see you coming with Kid Rock and and you don't drink at the fights.
By the way, Kid Rock is he's terrific. He came to the convention. He knocked everybody out. He was fantastic. He's a great guy. He's just a great guy. He's popular, very popular.
Oh, he's
So popular.
he's definitely, he's a,
Yeah. You know what my favorite thing he does is sampling major hits and writing bullshit, faux lyric, redneck nonsense over top of them. By the way, in the modern age, sampling is the stolen valor of music. Feel free to at me.
real dirt serpent too, dude.
Yeah,
He's a
he really
freaking
is.
legend.
He's a real dirt serpent too, dude. He's a legend.
You know?
He's
No, he doesn't know, dummy. He doesn't know what fucking dirt serpent means. Explain to the old fart who thinks people get trapped in his cell phone what a dirt serpent is.
Legend.
He is a legend,
Yeah.
I guess, in a true sense.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, in a true sense, most of what you hear about him is bullshit.
People love him, dude. Look at him. I went to his show
Yeah, look at him alone at the RNC in front of. Was that when he was on Solid Gold?
not long ago somewhere, and people, I think some guy had a heart attack there too, but it was like funnel
Well, I think that's a lot to do with just the age of his fans.
cake related, I think, type of vibes.
Wait. Sorry. You saw Kid Rock. Somebody had a heart attack, and it was funnel cake related kind of vibes. All right. So he was fat, is what you're saying. A fat guy had a heart attack that's what he's saying. Yes.
There, and people, I think some guy had a heart attack there too, but it was like funnel cake related, I think, type of vibes.
He draws big crowds, actually. It's amazing.
Yes, they're huge. Some of them are so big. I think it's because of all the funnel cakes they eat. You mean at a state fair, you motherfucker? Where else do you get a funnel cake? Are there any giant stadiums in this fucking country where you're like, oh yeah, I'm at the T-Mobile Center next week or whatever? You know what? If you really, one of the best things about them is that the funnel cakes. It's a state fair, you dumb motherfucker. That's not a compliment.
So one...
Yeah, they have fried pickles too. It's all great stuff. Just saying.
was out someplace recently at 80,000
Someplace.
people. He's big stuff, but he's really forget.
No, he didn't. He was not someplace where he had 80,000 people. Get the fuck out of here. And if he did, it was a festival that had that many people in total there the whole time over the course of a weekend.
Forget about that.
Meaning 20,000 on day one, 20,000 on day two, 34,000 on day three, and the remaining stragglers on Sunday,
I call him
where he performed.
Bob. You know, his name Bob, right? It's Bob.
Yeah, his name's Bob. I call him Bob. Bob. Like you love being called Donald. Yeah,
Kid Rock, but it's Bob. But
he looks like a Bob there. You're right. That's a good picture of Bob.
he's a really good guy. And
Yeah, I've been over to his house
he's a
a
cool
bunch.
cat, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
He is a cool cat. A cool cat. He's a hep cat. Hey, hep cats, get off my lawn.
I live in Nashville. Right when I got into town, he yeah, he hit me up one night and was like, "Hey man, I'm having a birthday party this week and you should come." And I didn't even know him, and it was
Right.
nice of him. And since then we've
What kind of hey, you want to come over at my house? We're gonna have a party. What kind of party is it gonna be? Well, we're gonna drink and we're gonna eat some barbecue and there's gonna be some fucking. Wow, who's coming? Just the two of us.
done a lot of fun stuff together. His
good.
brother's missing a leg too,
Yeah,
which
his
is crazy.
brother's-
He looks like the
What? His brother's missing a leg too, which is crazy.
lamp. Have you ever seen that movie, The Lamp, like from like a Christmas Story or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic.
You ever see that movie, The Lamp?
The family, the father, I knew very well. He just passed away.
Wait. What the fuck is the picture in there? Like, so he was saying that, wait, he's missing his leg and it is somehow like the leg lamp. So he wears a stocking on it and a high heel shoe? Did his prosthetic come in a box that said Fragile on it? What the hell?
Crazy. He looks like the lamp. Have you ever seen that movie, The Lamp, like from like a Christmas Story or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic.
What? Why would his leg look? Why is his leg wearing stockings? Why is it in a high heel shoe? Why does it have tassels? What are you talking about? No, it doesn't.
The family, the father, I knew very well.
Also, nobody has. When did he get his prosthetic? Fucking the 1800s? Why does he have just a fucking peg at one? What? He doesn't have like a modern prosthetic. Modern prosthetics look like robot legs. They're fucking amazing looking. What the shit?
He just passed away. And it was tough.
Well, you knew his dad.
For the brother. I did. and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to know him through knowing Bob.
He was fantastic though. What was fantastic about him? What would you say is one of the key traits? I'm sure. Remember that story he told you? Tell Theo that moment you guys when you were talking because you met him through him obviously, and
And I tell you what, it's just a fantastic family, the whole family.
Yeah, the whole family's fantastic. I mean, I don't have to get into it. I don't even have to get into it. I mean, I could go on and on about how fantastic his dead dad is, but you guys know, and I could tell you anecdotes, but I don't have any.
No, I love Bob. He and I joke around together a lot. We've spent a lot of time together. Look at his brother right there.
That's right.
Dude hits
and you know what? He
dingers,
plays
too.
golf, and he plays well. He hit a
Okay. He's not wearing a prosthetic while he golfs. So he's standing on one leg. So the reference that Theo Vaughn is making is that is a joke that he has about Bob's one-legged brother because he stands on the leg. It's like an isolated leg like the lamp. This is fucking bananas. This is so gross. I don't even think he has a grip on how gross this is. He's saying that guy looks like a lamp because of the singular leg. Also, I would like to point out that he has a left leg and the lamp is clearly a right leg in the movie. So.
a perfect drive with me. I said, "You play?" We were on the 17th hole. I said, "You play?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Oh, really? You want to hit a shot?" And he said, "Okay." And he got up. Well, it was very hard for him to put it was really a tough situation because he has to get the ball in the ground and the tee and everything else. Nobody did it
Nobody wants to help him?
for him. And he did it. I mean, he goes to the...
You had dozens of people standing around and all of fucking your dogs were all hanging out and nobody wanted to set the ball in the tee for him? Just quickly just to be a friend?
the ground, and he did it. Gets up. He swung, and I'm a good golfer. He had a perfect shot out to the right with a little hook. Nobody knows what that means in your audience, probably, but
Yeah, because you guys are broke motherfuckers. You don't golf. What the fuck do you know about golf, you poor sons of bitches? Listen to your accent. You're not. We have a rule at all of my golf courses that we don't even let people like you with that kind of an accent step foot on our fucking. Listen to you, dumbass, with your chin scratch. Like, never. It's like my supporters. I would never let them set foot on my fucking golf course. They can stand outside and on the road all they want.
but that's like a perfect shot. And I said, that is perfect. He said, I'll do it again. I said, don't do it again because you'll never be able to hit a shot that good.
Why? He plays all the time. You just wouldn't let him you wouldn't let him join the fucking game. That's what you're saying. He plays all the time. You let him do one shot. That's what that story is. Fuck you.
And it was really amazing. He's
No, it wasn't amazing. Amazing would be that he played a whole round with us because we let him. Not, I let his one-legged brother take one shot and then I didn't let him do it again.
great. And Bob really
He'll do it again, too.
They
He's a
love the
repeat
family.
offender.
They're
great.
really have an amazing family. They love
He's a repeat offender.
Bob's great. I've been to parties at his house.
Because he's down home,
One thing that's really nice about him is
that he was born well-to-do and rich and he pretends to be, kind of redneck and poor.
I'll go do something with him, and then like a few days later, he'll send a nice note, or he'll send like a photo, like a frame photo,
Not
and just say,
surprised.
"Hey, man."
He sends a framed photo. Please tell me it's just him. It's not a picture of the two of you together. It's just he sends just a headshot in a frame. Where's he get the frame? At truck stops? Or you think he gets probably a yard sale?
And I had a nice time.
Yeah.
I noticed at the events you don't drink,
He sends you. All right, never mind.
and you don't drink or smoke, right?
I don't drink or smoke.
You never have.
No, I never.
This is the heart of the conversation, and then we'll finish up. I'm going to finish up with this chunk of it because this is the part that everybody got into. Never mind the fact that Trump believes that billions of people can't fit in his phone, and that's why he sounded like shit when his teeth were falling out the other day. this is what people focused on, was the fact that he doesn't know who he's talking to, and he talks about addiction and stuff for a bit. Yeah.
I had a great brother who taught me a lesson. Don't drink.
By dying of alcoholism, which, by the way, they never really talk about. Did he do himself in? Did he die of cirrhosis? Because he talks about how alcohol killed him all the time, but...
Drink. And he said don't smoke. He smoked and he drank, and he was a great guy. He was a handsome, very handsome guy.
Is he old?
Yeah, I learned a lot from him. That's why I tell my sons, never grab women by the pussy if you don't know who they are and you don't have the right to do it and you're not in a relationship with them. They're like, fuck you.
Older? He was older?
Quite a bit older, yeah. And he would he had a problem with alcohol and smoke a lot. But, I tell people, no drugs, no drinking, no cigarettes.
Yeah.
I tell that to my kids all the time. I'd say no drugs, no drinking, no smoke. And
It was
Didn't work.
tough.
he'd always tell.
They all of them drink, and a bunch of them drug, and Don definitely smokes.
Tell me, he'd say never. So he was, really old enough that you would look up to somebody, and I'd look up to him anyway.
Did you admire him?
Yeah, I admired so much about him. He had so much going. He had the look. He
What
had
was his name?
unbelievable personality, like an incredible personality.
What was his name, Donald?
His name was Fred Trump. And he had a problem with alcohol. He got addicted to it because they say alcohol is tougher than drugs to get off of.
No, they don't. Socially, it's a problem because it's more readily available. But no, they don't.
I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I'm in recovery, actually. I've been in recovery, so like most of the last 10 years.
From alcohol?
Most of it.
From drugs and alcohol.
So which
By the way, this is where Trump is like, I'm sitting across from a drug addict, and suddenly he's in a fucking petting zoo with Theo Von instead of being interviewed.
is worse?
For me, drugs is the problem, but if I have a drink, then it's tougher for me to prevent myself from getting
It sets off a chain.
Yeah.
But which is harder to quit? I've heard alcohol is harder to quit than drugs, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine because it's probably more readily available.
More readily, well, and it's social, and you're sitting
Yeah.
and everyone's drinking and all.
Yeah,
Because
rarely do
nowadays
you go to a
everyone's taking
dinner and
drugs.
everybody's eating Xanaxes or something, for
Yeah, right.
appetizers. Usually people are having like a mint julep or something a little fancy.
Yeah, that's what happened. Most of the dinners I go to, people are having mint juleps. Yeah. Yeah, I would say almost every. Yeah, pretty much without fail. I don't know when I've been at a dinner where at least half the table wasn't having a mint julep. So let me get this straight. Theo Von, business in the front, party in the back. Theo Von, obviously, man of the people. Parties with Bob, aka redneck superstar, and he goes to parties at his house with also UFC fighters, and everybody's drinking mint juleps. While Tucker Carlson is in the corner with his little tin of pomegranate dip, going, you got to try this.
It's your Negroni I just learned about.
Right.
But yeah.
So you have a problem with that then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've had
Oh, wow. Way to go, Don. You put me in the room with another one of your ne'er-do-well friends.
it's been in my family. My family, it's like yeah.
Can you stay away from it?
Yeah, I've done a good job. I mean,
So how long have you been off?
I go to recovery meetings. I've been off most recently a little over 2 years.
Do you ever go back on?
Yeah, I've had stints where I go.
He just said 10 years, most of the last 10 years. Obviously, if he said 2 years, he goes back on.
Go back on
And you don't control it?
it's it goes downhill
No
pretty
kidding.
quick.
So
You think it's going to be
you
easy.
think you're controlling it?
Oh, and then you're damn.
Boy,
Yeah, you're
that's
doing
tough.
your go-kart and racing
So
with
the only
hookers
way
and
you
stuff.
can
It gets
do is
bad.
just not to do.
You're go-karting racing with hookers. So that's what you do when you get high. That's your go-kart and racing with them. And by the way, did you think Trump heard that? Or how long do you think it will take for Trump to for that phrase to get into Trump, work its way through the mush that is in between Trump's ears and what's left of his cerebral cortex?
And then you're you're doing your go-kart and racing with hookers and stuff. It gets bad.
Just not to do it, right?
Right. So then in the end, you're like, I have to not do it. Did you see
in the end, do you come up with that, or does the hooker tell you while you're trying to fix the go-kart before the cops show up?
With your brother, could you see it or anything? Man.
Yeah. Oh, obviously. He was sitting in the go-kart.
I was amazed because he had so much going, he had everything going. I think it happened in college at a fraternity maybe, or I don't know, somewhere along the line it happened.
He's your brother. You never thought to ask? You never had an intervention where you're like, when did this start? Let's go back to the moment when you thought you had to start drinking. What were you covering up? What got you started? What was before you were chemically addicted to it? What was the thing that drove you emotionally to do that? I don't know. Maybe that conversation's worth having with your brother if he's fucking dying from this shit.
Happened, and all of a sudden, this is not unique. This is a very common story, unfortunately. But and then the family would see it and start to notice it, and
they would notice.
It didn't get better. It didn't get better.
Well, of course not, because all you're doing is noticing.
I was amazed. He lived for so long in bad conditions. In terms of, I was amazed that his body could hold out. It held out, and it had bad moments. But his body was unbelievably strong that it could withstand this.
Yeah, it's a body. Your body's just so resilient.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time that you saw him or spent with him?
I do, and
I don't know if you do.
I'm sorry to ask you about it. Is it all right?
Yeah, no. It's the reason it's good talking about it is it might help other people. If it helps one other person, it's worth the conversation. Frankly.
We talk about that stuff a lot on our podcast. Yeah. A lot of our audience struggles or has struggled with.
By the way, I want you to pay attention to Theo's foot overlap. I do this sometimes too. It might be a country thing where you put your foot on your other foot when you're sitting there, and his toe is going to fucking town.
A lot on our
watch. See that? He just switched places. What? His fucking toe is like sending Morse code.
Podcast. Yeah. A lot of our audience struggles or has struggled with alcoholism, addiction, intimacy disorders, all types of stuff.
Intimacy disorders. Oh, you mean like this? What we're watching?
No. So it's like it's pretty.
And by the way, would you consider go-karting off-road while on drugs with a hooker an intimacy disorder, or never mind?
Pretty kind of normal conversation, but
the interesting thing is, and I tell people, so I never had a cigarette, and I've never had a glass of alcohol, and
yeah, we've already had this conversation. It already happened. Have you? At this point, I would just pretend to be drunk if I was you. Just so that people wouldn't go, oh, he's losing his mind.
My brother was incredible. He would tell me, because he knew he had a problem, and he'd say, don't ever drink, don't ever smoke. He'd always add smoking, because he did smoke a lot, which is, not very healthy. But he'd say...
Don Jr., cigars and pot, who smokes more, him or your older brother who died?
Don't ever drink, don't ever drink. He'd tell me every time. I said, don't ever drink, because he knew he had this addiction. And I never had a glass of alcohol. Never, ever did I have a glass of alcohol.
Wow. I didn't know that till just now.
Because of him.
Also, for the record, I have never had a glass of alcohol. I have never smoked, and I have never done drugs. Just saying. Never going to, by the way. Zero judgment about other people doing it. But, I don't do it. Not going to. No interest. I'm just too fascinated with myself. It's an ego thing. But never. Yeah, I've been straight edge my whole life, as it were. That's right, HR Terror. So I'm just saying we're not all like this.
And I would say that if I did drink, I could, conceivably be the type of personality that would have, like you, that would have a problem. but I never
Like you.
had. And the only thing I say to people is, if too late for the people that you're talking about, but
Yeah, those people are fucked. Like your brother, you know what I mean? And once you start noticing, it's over.
if you don't drink, you don't miss it. I mean, I don't even think about alcohol or
Right, it's not a
anything.
part of your world.
I don't think about cigarettes. I
Yeah.
don't think about any of that. If you don't take drugs or
You do think about the green Sudafed that you can only get in Europe because the rules are different, though. You think about that enough to buy a bunch of it and put it in a drawer next to your desk. You do think about that. You do think about the Adderall shortage or the what is it? Provigil and modafinil, prescriptions that were flying while you were in the White House. You do think about that, though, right?
if you don't have alcohol, it's real easy not to drink it. It's
Yeah.
when I had a
Also, by the way, I think the Provigil and modafinil stuff that was being handed around in his in the Trump White House was not for him. I think he does the Adderall Sudafed thing more than like that, but I don't think he does the modafinil because apparently it's supposed to add like 5 points to your IQ, and that clearly has not happened. This guy has not gotten smarter since he was introduced to that period. Just saying.
friend who went to the Wharton School of Finance with me. He was a very
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I remember that guy.
smart guy.
Where is it, Wharton School?
That's in Philadelphia.
Yeah, nobody knows.
That's at
oh,
Penn.
yeah. Rocky.
Right.
Yeah, Rocky went to Wharton. Thank you. Yeah, Philadelphia, Rocky. Are we doing word free association? The world's worst improv.
And it's a great school, great business school. And
It's great if you want to be a legacy graduate and not actually have to do anything.
it's part of the University of Pennsylvania, the
Okay.
business school. At
Oh,
the
it's nice
university.
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Friend's brother went there or something.
Well,
Or something.
Ate
then
near
he,
there
then
once.
he was smart.
He ate near there once. I can't even tell if he's fucking with Trump or he knows. I think he's just in podcaster, like side remark comedy zone where he tries to pepper things in. I can't tell, and I don't know that he knows.
My friend's brother went there or something.
Well,
We ate
then
near there
Then he
once.
was smart
We ate near there once.
because it's a great school.
At a,
And but this person that I met,
He's just at a he's trying to think where they ate, and Trump has just moved on.
he hated the taste of scotch.
Hated
it. Couldn't stand it.
Okay, by the way, this is apocryphal. This is a bullshit story. This is a tale you hear all the time about a guy, and this is not true at all. Like on his end, about a guy who hated the taste of scotch, but he trained himself to like it because he thought he needed to drink it socially to be around the rich people because scotch was a rich people drink, and then he became an alcoholic, and then he died from the alcoholism. I have heard this fucking story from so many fucking people. It is a fucking urban legend. This is nonsense.
But he insisted on having it because he felt it was important to be able to drink. I said, no, just don't drink. He said, to be successful in business, you have to sort of interact and
Bullshit. I swear to God. Like, he's making... This is the same... Yeah, they all knew the same fucking guy. That guy got around. He apparently lived long enough to know everybody so that they can... Yeah. This is garbage. Never happened. Never.
have to drink. And I said, don't do it. Anyway, he became an unbelievable alcoholic.
Yeah. And then one night he was at home and he was babysitting his friend's kids, and he kept hearing the washing machine in the basement turn on and off, and he was about to go down and check it, but he decided to call the police instead. And then because the noise was weird, and when the police showed up, they went down in the basement, and there was a serial killer who just escaped from prison who was plugging in and unplugging the dryer, right? Like, yeah, yeah, I know that guy. Same fucking dude. Yeah, we all know that guy.
Uncontrollable alcoholic.
Oh, I thought you
And
meant like
he-
one of
and
the
he died.
best.
Yeah, and he died. He was but he hated the taste of scotch,
And he still
and then
did
he
it.
couldn't live without it.
Wow.
Literally.
Well, I think I noticed a lot of like in the
He's okay. First of all, Theo, you've heard this fucking story before. Don't fuck around. You've heard this dumbass story from other people.
recovery rooms and stuff, it's a lot of people that they're missing something inside of
Yeah.
them, and so they
Could be.
they take on so they want to try and fill it up with something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's because you're not missing anything. That's why you never drank. It's because there's no holes in your life at all. You've lived such a full and life, and you've had such a supportive family that you never, there are no gaps to fill. I mean, with Sudafed and Adderall and stimulants and benzos and shit like that over the years, and stuff that give you diarrhea uncontrollably and whatever. But besides, I mean, not alcohol, which would be excellent.
Do you remember the last time that you spent with your brother?
I do, and he'd have periods where he'd get sick, very sick, and we thought we'd lose him or we lost him. Then he'd get better.
So it was like, psych.
And that happened 5 or 6 times. I mean, where you thought you lost.
Okay, real quick. He's asking you about the 6th time. I'm just saying. He's asking you about the 6th time. He's asking you about the last time. What was the 6th time like? Not. So basically, you weren't there because you were like, "Fuck, this guy's never gonna die," and then he died. Is that what you're saying?
Him, and then he got better, and it was amazing. I mean, he was,
until he didn't. And the last time you saw him before he didn't get better was what?
Certainly very strong in that sense. And I just tell people it's so tragic. Don't drink. Just don't drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. You already said that fucking part. He just asked you about the last time you saw him, and you said yes, as if you were going to relate that moment, and then you don't know is the answer. I don't know. I saw him several times, and then as he got worse, it was harder socially to be around him because he, alienated himself from the family, or I just couldn't be around it. And at that time, I was very busy, and then I just got to, he kept going in and out, and I never thought we'd lose him, and then we lost him all of a sudden. Like, that happens all the time. Just say it. His brother, yeah, your brother died alone. Yeah, your brother died with, you weren't there, and you don't remember the last time you saw him because you'd already written him off. That's it.
And you're not going to have a problem. Like even you, if you didn't drink, you would never, but you probably maybe wouldn't be successful like you are. It's part of your story, right?
It's helped me a lot. Yeah, because I don't know what would happen probably. I think it's just too risky.
No, he means the drinking helped you, dummy.
It is risky.
Trump was just saying that if you weren't a drunk, you wouldn't be as successful because I guess you wouldn't be as relatable. And hey, who am I to say? He's got 2.9 million subscribers, and I got my little package of the internet. Now, granted, I have a storied career that will last, legendary in that regard and continue to be. But maybe that's what I'm missing. I just need to start drinking. Thanks, Trump. Yeah, I tell people no alcohol, no drugs, unless you want to be a powerful podcaster, in which case probably helps. Look how drugged out Joe Rogan is, and he's huge.
Something that you miss about him, or like that? Like what's something that you miss about him, Fred?
Oh, stop drilling, dude! This is a dry well.
Well, he was wise in a sense. I mean, think of it. He's got this problem, and it was very important for him to convey to me not to have this problem. And I couldn't have been successful if I had that problem.
Yeah.
If I had that problem, and I think maybe I'm a person.
Wait a minute. You think there aren't like maintenance alcoholics and maintenance drug users that aren't richer than you? You're kidding, right? You think that the billionaires and millionaires that have more money than you think those people, none of them are alcoholics or have used drugs, or by the way, are untreated, like maintenance alcoholics or maintenance drug users. Dude, there are heroin addicts with more money than this asshole.
Personality type where I could have had the problem if I drank. But if you don't drink, you're never going to have it. I mean, I don't miss when I see somebody light up a cigarette and just they're in heaven. I don't miss that at all.
Really? That's your perception. What's the heaven part where they're squinting and kind of heaven dangles out of the side of your mouth where you're like, where the fuck are we going?
It's weird. It's so it's very Native American too.
Isn't it crazy?
It's bizarre.
What? It's so Native American, it's bizarre? Wait a minute. You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost, this thing's only halfway through and I'm done because I've already gone over and we got the DNC. But I got it. What a great time to just sort of disengage from this horseshit. And I want to tell you, like, this is the counter-programming that Donald Trump is doing to the DNC, along with his little gatherings. This is what he's doing. He's doing all these podcasts trying to draw attention to himself, and he's doing a lot of interviews, and they're going to make the point that she doesn't do interviews, but he does, even though he blathers and bullshits and all this kind of stuff, and she will be held to a higher standard and whatever. He just doesn't matter. He can just say whatever he wants, and nobody bothers him about it. Never mind the fact that he just said you can't fit millions of people in a fucking cell phone. Nobody's going to care. But leave it to Theo Vaughn. Theo, if you're watching this later, and by God, I hope someone shares this clip with you. I gotta say. Watch the whole thing. Don't just listen to the first 20 minutes like you did with Trump's Elon Musk interview. The whole thing, because you're really bringing it home. Because in the middle of him just being a yammering asshole about addiction, which he has no reference point other than his brother, who apparently was like, never drink, is the story he's trying to tell you. You manage somehow to say the dumbest, weirdest, marginally, I guess, soft pedal racist thing in the entire, so far. Granted, obviously Trump probably laps you in the end, because he's sort of like in the tortoise and the hare of racism. Trump is always the tortoise. Just when you think you must have, certainly the other person must have expended all the racism inside themselves. Certainly there is no racism left, and here he comes lapping everybody. But one more time.
Light up a cigarette and just, they're in heaven. I don't miss that at all.
It's weird. It's so it's very Native American too.
Isn't it crazy?
Bizarre. And
it's so weird. It's so Native American. It's bizarre. What? Where does that even come? I mean, other than the root of that seems to be the story that Native Americans gave the settlers tobacco so they would die of cancer. That kind of running 80s gag that was around for a little bit, right? That cigarettes are how Native Americans poison the white man. That seems to be the root of it. Or it's just like, that's something like Native Americans do. Why would we even do that shit? So weird. Which seems, on a surface level, it's gross and racist and stupid. Maybe that's all there is to it. Maybe I'm just digging beneath it, just trying to figure something out about it. But, listen to that again. And, look, meanwhile, Trump's saying this dipshittery out of nowhere.
That at all.
It's weird. It's so it's very Native American too.
Isn't it crazy?
Bizarre. And, I think sometimes our older brothers, they kind of they take the speed bumps for us, as younger brothers, so that we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
my brother went through a lot of stuff so that I didn't have to go through it, and then I get to see him and learn.
What are you talking about? You just told us you're in addiction. You've been in recovery for the last decade, and you've only been clean for about 2 years and change. And congrats! I'm glad Theo's clean. Good for him. I hope it keeps. If you've got a problem and you manage to overcome it, I hope it sticks. That's cool. But it doesn't sound like you skip. At what point did your brother drive by in a go-kart with a hooker going, "Never do this"?
Is he okay now?
Yeah, he's doing great now. But that's one of the blessings, I think, of having an older brother.
Well, you can learn through history too, even if it's not a brother, it's by watching other people. I mean,
yeah, that's true. You can learn by watching other people. Maybe you should try it. I don't know. I'm going to throw that out there. Oh my God. So this is the picture of Mike Pillow with no mustache, wearing a hat and glasses, being interviewed by, what's his name? I forget that kid's name. He does good videos. He's a decent dude. Everybody knows it's him because he's got an entourage with him, and he's probably handing out fucking promo code, war room handouts. Good Lord.
You can see if you have a friend who's an alcoholic, or even just by reading about people, you can learn.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a brother, but in this case, it was very personal. It was a brother, and
it was a brother. All right. Chat room. I'm kind of done with this, but I want you to. The point I'm trying to make, and everybody's going to be covering the DNC stuff, Midas Touch, and all those guys are co-streaming it and talking about it afterwards. There's plenty of stuff on the other networks to watch. So I'm sort of, think of me as counter programming for that. But that's what you get from the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. This is where Hal Sparks comes to Hal Sparks in a way that only Hal Sparks can, because I'm Hal Sparks, and that's what Hal Sparks does. And people, a lot of people don't like Hal Sparks because of how Hal Sparks is. But then other people love Hal Sparks because he can Hal Sparks better than almost any other Hal Sparks that could ever exist. It's just true. So, the major's on right now. Go check out everybody else's programming and go watch, the Maddow coverage and all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that later. But I want you guys to know that this is how they are counter-programming the amazing job that is going on in the DNC and how badly they are losing. And it's hilarious. Yeah, and I want to thank the 3.5 billion people that watched the live stream tonight. And I'm sorry the rest of you couldn't get in because the internet was full. I know granted, the DNC is eating up some of that bandwidth, but most of the time it's me. And I've got to go off the air just so that we make sure that everybody can see the main speakers at the DNC. So they asked me to do it, and it's my honor to do it. So like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, and I will see you later on. Oh, and one more thing.